It sounds okay?
Yeah, sounds great now.
All right. All right. Well, hello, everybody. This is sort of a talk on nothing,
Hello.
really. Can you hear? And Mike, just let me know if it goes bad, like with
Okay.
a hand signal. Uh, so someone brought up the idea of surrender. Surrender is more really for the other topic, but there's a statement, Ramana Maharshi, a great master, used surrender in a lot of different ways, and let's say the non-duality way was who was there to surrender and to whom. Yeah, so that would be the absolute of the idea. And then in the story of an action figure, surrender can be quite important because I think reaching a level of being convinced of the futility of using what you are to look for itself, I think in a sense is sort of a surrender. At least it was for me. So the futility of waiting and attempting and hoping to get something that you already are. Yeah. So again, it's just confusion. The apparatus has an idea it's what it is, and therefore it's has a strange time hearing the logic of non-duality because it's seen as what you're not. So it's seeing itself as what you are. That's its whole programming. Yet non-duality casts it as something you're not. Yeah. So it's very frustrating for it to keep trying to get it and hear the message that there's nothing to get, yet it keeps trying to get it. So it goes on and on and on. And a lot of people are still waiting for it to get that there's nothing to get. You don't have to wait and just realize it can't get anything. Yeah, it doesn't matter if it gets that or not. It's nice for us to realize that it can't get it. Yeah. So you can just move on from that little topic. And then, so in a way, the surrender is just to the inability of what you're relying on to find what it already is. I mean, that's what pulls out the rug from underneath it is the recognition that you are what you're looking for. I mean, and I would say anyone who's at a non-duality meeting has probably gotten a little free sample of that. It may have turned into something else, or it was made into something else by what claimed to be the one who had the hit, but there was a hit, and what you are vibrated, and there was a sense of that, and that sense of that is questioning the assumed what you are. Yeah, that's what it does. I mean, when what you are moves, let's say, or vibrates, it vibrates against all the ideas of what you are. Yeah, and basically, it doesn't deny it, it just negates it because now you've gotten a hit of what you are. And from that point on, there's an increased possibility of seeing what you're not. Yeah, and so more gets revealed, and in a way, you don't surrender. There's a surrendering of the you, so to speak. Yeah. See, the you loves the idea of surrendering, usually after maybe 30 years of holding on and going through many nights, dark nights of the soul, and then, finding itself on a spiritual cliff, being witnessed by others, and then finally giving up the ghost and surrendering. But basically, it isn't you surrendering, it's a surrendering of a you. And the surrendering of the you really doesn't even have to happen because there's no you to surrender. So it's basically already a done deal. You're not that. It isn't like you become what you are by slowly as you see what you're not. No, you see what you're not from what you are. Yeah. And the seeing of what you're not intimates what you are. Yeah. You're not growing into what you are. You're outgrowing, you're growing out of what you thought you were in, basically. Yeah. And the outgrowing of it is immediate because you've never been in it, so to speak. So, but in recovery and stuff, surrender is just that. It's being convinced basically that you're fucked and that you had a huge role in being fucked. Yeah. It's not like everyone's done it to you and this and that. You see your role in it, and hopefully, if you keep seeing your role in it, you'll see that wasn't your role in it. Yeah. That's the good news. So, this is, I don't know. It's just for me, if the seeing is claimed and now is assumed to be you looking, that's the blindness to the seeing. So obviously, the more you look for it with it, the more you're blind that you are it. Yeah, I mean, I can't see how you can escape that recognition. Yeah. It wouldn't work on anything else that you're not, but because you are this, you can't use this to find this. Yeah. You can find whatever you're not. You can. You can be successful, but you can find what you already are. And the system is treating what we are as something else. That's what it is. So it's trying to get this something else to maybe make itself better. And maybe it's reached an understanding that less of me would be really more of me. So I want to be more of a non-self as a self. Yeah. I want to lose some of that selfing, but I still want to have to be the self that lost it. Yeah. So this stubbornness of the system doesn't need to be corrected. It just needs to be seen. That's all. Yeah. I mean, would you be surprised if you knew the nature of a snake, and you took care of it and you fed it with an eyedropper and inevitably it bit you? Would you really be surprised that it bit you if you knew the nature of the snake? Yeah. See, we believe that if we do something or we do it a certain way, then it's going to work, but it doesn't. This is just a mechanical mental activity that arises wherever we are. Yeah, it arises, and it arises after where we are because we can see it. We can see it arise. Yeah, and then suddenly it's saying it's the seer. That's all. And then there's a certain habitual drift of attention and interest from the presence to that was and that, hopes to will be. And basically is, I was Paul, I'm going to be Paul, therefore I am Paul. Yeah? I mean, I feel like we all have enough evidence. You just have to look at it in a certain way. Yeah? That way you could call negation, in a sense. So instead of trying to learn more about consciousness, learn more about you. Yeah, you that thinks it's unconscious. And then when you learn more about you that thinks it's unconscious, you see that you're not that you, and then the definitions of that you don't define you anymore. Yeah? So maybe I saw it so dramatically with the idea of being in the moment, yeah? Predicated on a belief that you're out of the moment. I saw that little robbery repeat itself millions of times in different ways, but there's a certain assumption. I just went out, so all right, why don't we just start the meeting then?
Okay. Anybody want to raise their hand?
Went into nothing.
Huh. Yeah.
It just blanked out.
Didn't drop you though, huh?
No. You want to ask any question or?
No hands yet.
Mike, I think I lost you.
You can't hear me?
Can you hear me?
I think you're breaking up.
All right. Yes?
You're a little choppy, I guess.
Yeah, I'm going to try to get on that phone.
Yeah, you're out of sync.
I don't know how to do it really. I forgot. I don't know why. I'm going to try to, well, just see if anyone can, can ask a question or whatever.
Okay, no hands yet. Sanda has her hand up. Can you hear us? Can you hear Paul?
I can hear.
Okay.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Just hope for the best.
Yeah,
Yes,
hi,
I can hear you.
me? Okay, good.
Yeah.
So I do not know, Paul, what's going on when it's not a process, because I can see when I put attention what I'm not. It's that everything is a lie, but it's not permanent. So recognition is there in the moment, but the next moment goes away, like looks like, I put attention on that what I'm not. So how is that this recognition cannot transform from then on everything, my whole perception?
Well, look at you. The awareness didn't go. The awareness is the basis of both of those moments you just described. You said there was cognition of something, then there isn't cognition of something. What's allowing those things to be noticed?
Awareness.
Yes. So where does the awareness go? Nowhere.
Nowhere, no?
Yeah. So when does it arrive? Never.
No, it doesn't arrive. It's obvious.
But you're very familiar with cognition let's say arriving, and then cognition going, if you want to say it that way. Yes?
Yeah, moment. Can you tell me the English is really 300 words.
It doesn't matter. Let's say your attention, you can tell when your attention is on something or on nothing, and you can tell when it moves to something else. Yes?
Correct.
Seemingly.
Seemingly.
Yeah. So that the mental state is conscious or sentient of things coming and going, but it is not picking up what's always here. Yeah. So the awareness is before you're being conscious and unconscious of things. Your awareness isn't being picked up by your consciousness. Your consciousness is picking up what arises after the consciousness. Yeah. And then it's moving from this and that, up and down, close and far, here and then not here. Yes, but
Yeah.
can't turn the consciousness onto the awareness.
Consciousness and awareness. I thought that
You're
is
you're not becoming conscious of the awareness. You become aware of the consciousness.
So
Whatever you're describing something hits and something misses, my attention
Yeah,
there, but
yeah,
stay
yeah.
permanent. That's
Yeah.
all the field of consciousness. But the awareness is watching the consciousness and the coming and going. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So the screen never is not the screen, or that
Yeah.
basis of awareness is never not aware. Yeah. We're used to things coming and going. We're used to things getting bigger and smaller. We're used to think of we're used to being very attentive or spaced out. Yeah. These things we notice as being conscious, but we're not noticing the awareness because it's always there. Yeah.
Uh-huh, okay.
So it's not an experience. You're not going to have an experience of awareness stabilizing.
Yeah.
Awareness is awareness always. Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to have awareness stabilized as something that you can be conscious of.
Uh-huh.
That's not how it goes.
So
You're
then
conscious of what comes and goes. You're conscious of sounds. You're conscious of hearing, feeling, tasting, touching. You're conscious of thoughts, but you're not conscious of awareness. Awareness is aware of consciousness. We are awareness, not as this activity. As this activity, we seem to be conscious. And then we can seem to be unconscious. Yeah. And therefore, as a desire to become more conscious, and trying to become more conscious makes you less conscious of what you are. You want to be conscious of awareness. You want to be there to be conscious of awareness. That's not going to happen. You are awareness. Yeah. So we have these hopes and wishes from consciousness. Yeah. That are dreaming of being conscious of awareness. Yeah. As if it's a thing that I can be conscious of, as if it's something I can hear, feel, taste, touch, and smell. But whatever is smelling is awareness, and it can't be smelled. Whatever hearing can never be heard. Whatever feeling can never be felt. Whatever wish to be stabilized that's always here can never become stable because it's always here. This is some. All right, Mike, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yes.
Well, that's just the take, and these are just words, but people want to have the screen appear in the movie. Then once they want to have the screen stay as in the movie. The screen is green. It's not of the movie. It's allowing the movie to appear and everything, but it's not of the movie. Yeah. It doesn't come and go. You can't be conscious of it and unconscious of it. You are it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm. Yeah. So
see,
what
if
happens?
It's based on you, it's you're gonna try to see it when it comes, and then you're gonna have a story about when it goes, because that's how it's going to appear to you. Yeah. But awareness isn't it's not going to be the concept that you have it. That's not it. This isn't about concentration. It's about a recognition. It's sort of like, where is there a special somewhere in everywhere that I have to arrive at so I can access everywhere? Of course not. Everywhere is everywhere. That's why it doesn't seem like it's anywhere. This is, to me, seriously, this was a complete recognition of the futility of Paul ever getting it. That's the beauty of it, because I am it. Yeah. If I keep wanting it to be something I can have, it's going to be something that I seem to lose. And then I'm going to try to stabilize what's always stable, which is a form of agitation. Just like they say in the famous Zen thing, you can't use activity to produce stillness. That would be activity. Yeah.
So what happened then was that the mental state faked that what is beyond, because in that mental state, in cognition, I could find not movement and movement. As a movement, I could find anyhow, it's easy. But also in this mental state, I could find no movement.
Who could find no movement? That's a movement. The who that found no movement is a movement.
Yeah, okay. That's what I want to just say. What is the difference between that, what you're pointing? I just translated what happened for me.
Yes.
Yeah.
What we're attempting to point at is what we're not. Yeah.
Yeah.
What we're not is usually where we look at life from. We're looking at life, we're looking at this event called experience from a fixed point that isn't, and we are not a fixed point. Yeah. We are not located anywhere. We did not come, nor are we going to go. Yes. We're not a combination of this or that. Yeah. What you see is the futility of using what you're not to look for what you are. Yeah. That's the great liberation, is from the need to be liberated. It's not you getting liberated. You'd still be bound to you. Yeah. The great liberation is being liberated from the need to be liberated. Yeah. That's, to me, that's how I see it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. In a way, we're like 2 steps away from something, trying to make the 2 steps away from something as the thing that's before something. Yeah. So I want to be before awareness and become aware of awareness. This is just recognizing the futility of, I don't care how slick we are, they're still using what you're not to do something. That's what happens. Yeah. I mean, you can sophisticate it, you can make it more subtle, but in fact, it still wants to get it. It still wants to be there to have it. It still wants it to be the way it wants it to be, which is stabilized, and to take away every character defect that what I don't have, what I am not has, and just make it great. Yeah. It's always, it's a movement. It's always a movement, a movement, a movement. And you can't use a movement to find the stillness. That would just be a movement. Yeah. So this is the thing, is just to recognize the futility of that which is always moving to find stillness. It's And maybe if you're not that which is always moving, you are stillness. Who knows? I would say that's how it goes. Yeah. You stop using what you're not to find what you are, and then you find out what you are, but not as what you're not. Yeah. You usually find out what you are by recognizing what you're not. Yeah. And there's not like, all right, well, let's move on to the next adventure. There may not be another adventure. Yeah. You just may be chilled out in a point. Yeah. A lot of people can be relaxed after getting like a 3-hour massage. A lot of people can be relaxed in a controlled environment, like at a high-end gated community in Costa Rica. Yeah, a lot of us can respond to that. I'm talking about a relaxation at the initial coil, that little in there. To have that chill out is better than 50 Thai massages to me. Yeah, because it's like this constant thing that just constantly moving and trying to reach unmoving through moving. It's like the way we attempt to share about that awareness, or whatever you want to call it, the event of consciousness that really doesn't demonstrate any thought or effort to be conscious. Why would you think you could arrive to there which doesn't show any thought or effort with thought or effort? It's the same sort of message, Maybe every thought and effort would be reinforcing the reality of something you rather see as, I don't know. I think Ramana's way of saying it with the presupposing of the non-existent thing, of being what? Of existing, and then wanting to get salvation for that non-existent thing. If that's the premise that's happening, your spiritual practices themselves are reinforcing the non-existent thing. How can they destroy it? Yeah. So what gives the meaning to the spiritual practices isn't doing the spiritual practices. It's the basis underlying what or who is doing the spiritual practices. Yes? That's what gives the meaning to the spiritual practices. The spiritual practices aren't giving you a meaning. There's a meaning given to the spiritual practices. And that meaning is practicing duality based on non-existent thing that thinks it's existing is going to reinforce the delusion of the non-existent thing thinking it's existing. That's what it's going to do. And then it says, how could it destroy it if that's actually its intention? Its intention is to reinforce what you'd like to escape from. Yeah? That appeared like a pretty tight handcuff, and there was a surrender. I realized, yeah, that's what goes on. I realized, hey, what's the greatest mystery? Reality, wanting to attain reality. I mean, how could that ever come up unless reality was taking itself to be something else? I mean, really? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, share with me. It just makes complete sense to me. I don't think it needs like an 800-page commentary. It's just put on the shoes that we share here. If they fit, come back, There'll be a whole new line for the fall. Yeah. Slippers. Yeah. With sheepskin inside. You'll be really relaxed doing nothing. So, yeah, this is just agree or don't agree. I don't, it's up to you to find out. I mean, to me, it became the last answer. No one presented it to me as the last answer. I just heard this information. There was an entertaining of it. And in the process of time and Paul as the action figure, where there's first and last and next and, whatever, the last answer is pretty significant because it's taking away any need for any other answer concerning this topic. Yeah, pretty good. So the last answer negates all need for any other answers. That's the kind of answer I like. Yeah. Yeah. So then you're done with it. Yes. Done. And then you see what happens. Yeah. I mean, if some people ask me to go to like a spiritual convention, I'd have to I'd have to say, have you listened to the talks? I mean, I don't know if you'd want me to go there because I have no interest in spirituality whatsoever. I think that's an incredible success, really, for someone who had so many weird ideas of what spirituality was and wasn't, to completely lose interest in that topic is a pretty damn good solution, a pretty damn good effect. So. Brahmi is still in the shower, but now it's got or there's like fog all the time. I don't know what's happening there. There's so much moisture on the lens, eh? Wow. Do you see everyone see Brahmi? Oh, she's trying to clean it. It's like my old cars when I used to drive when it was raining. I had it would all fog inside. I could barely see. All right, so anybody have a question?
Yeah, thanks, Linda. Robert.
Thank you.
Robert.
Yeah, hi, Paul. Hi, Paul.
Robert, how are you?
Good. I got the sheepskin slippers.
Oh, you see? There you go. You're living the dream.
I got a short question. I can be aware of an object and I know I'm aware of the object. What is the knowing? Is that what I'm not?
I think you're more conscious of an object, and then you're aware that you're conscious of the object.
So is that aware of awareness?
That's how I see it. I don't see consciousness and awareness as the same. Nothing. Yeah? Yeah.
Yep.
But to me, it doesn't matter. You'll find out, and things will make sense the way that it's going to make sense to you. The thing is to recognize the mental activity that's placing us in a manufactured position. Yeah. We're basically living from an interpretation. Yeah. I think that's much more important than what's first, what's last, is just to recognize what you're not. To me, is the most profound, has the most profound importance than any other knowledge. Yeah. Because if not, all the other knowledge that you get introduced to, it will claim to be the one who has the knowledge. It will. Yeah. And you may have an incredible, huge amount of knowledge and still be bonded to the idea of self. Yeah. Knowledge is not going to get you out of it. Yeah. We have a statement in recovery: self-knowledge avails you nothing. Yeah. So knowledge has quite a lot of value, but any knowledge claimed by self is not going to avail you of anything. Yeah. It's going to just reinforce the self as the one who has the knowledge. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this to me is the most important message. And I really don't care about anything else, because I feel if you don't see this, you're going to be looking from it. Yeah. If you don't see the robbery, you're going to be complicit in the robbery, so to speak. Yeah. Without knowing it. Yeah. You'll be thinking you're not, because you'll be playing the policeman catching the thief, but that's the whole robbery. It's not just the robbery is not of the thief only. It's the thief and the policeman. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, when I went to satsangs and I heard people share, and it triggered feelings, you're all that, your complete emptiness and all this. But then I saw the failure of that, because the head was claiming to have been the one who heard all those things. Yeah. And then used them for different purposes than what I would have hoped for. Like, it didn't lead me to freedom. It led me to being enslaved to more concepts in a way. Yeah. And so, and in the interpretive law, we believe concepts are enough. We think that's it. If I know something, I basically, that's it. But in this case, we are what we're looking for. And the only possibility that's available to us is to be it. And we are that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Knowing is so far off from being it. It's, I feel. So, so this is why we just keep harping on it. Harping, because I saw it in my own experience and I watched it at people, because I've done talks for a while and people have gone to a lot of other sayings who come to our talks. So there would be people coming to a talk that must have gone to 700 satsangs. Now, they heard enough about what they were already. They needed to start hearing about what they weren't. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hearing about what they were wasn't working. It wasn't triggering what you would, humbly expect, like a traveling lighter, because the dilemma isn't that you're not that which is being described. You are that, when they're describing all you are is consciousness and everything like that. You are that, but describing that doesn't work. Yeah.
Yeah.
Describing the lion to the lion while it's identified as a sheep doesn't work. It just reinforces the sheep, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So let's just assume, let's take it for granted, we are the lion. We are it. No requirements necessary to meet it. We don't have to do a lot of fucking spiritual push-ups, shit like that. We are that. Yeah. Let's just assume that's the basis of the invitation of non-duality. Is all right. It's assumed when you get invited to non-duality that you have a sense, at least, that you are what you're looking for. Yeah.
Yep.
You've looked for it in every different way. You come to a certain conclusion. Yeah, that must be it, because I can't seem to fucking find it. I've been looking for it in Tibet. I've been looking for it here. I've been looking for it there. It keeps evading me. I can't believe it. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So then the whole point of that assumption is just, hey, that's the fact. We are that. So let's negate the assumed fact. Yeah. Let's question the assumed fact, which is overriding the fact. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. So, all right. So now we question let's say the assumed fact, and we start seeing it. And sooner or later, the emphasis isn't always on it that you're seeing, but the seeing. And then you get an intimation of what you are by seeing what you're not. You see the mental activities and you see all the pointing and all the remembering Paul and worrying about Paul as another form of remembering. You see it, yet there's no Paul. There's no one there. And so you recognize, really, I'm not of thingness,
Yeah.
I'm not locatable. I'm not a historical thing. I'm not. Yeah. And then in that recognizing what I'm not, there's a sense, a presence of what I am that's never been not there. Yeah. It's just not covered over by this fucking act of being identified. So I think it's pretty obvious to people when they hear it that I've learned enough about a lion as a sheep. Let's turn it to the sheep. Yeah. Because learning about being a lion through the auspices of the sheep isn't working. It keeps turning into I can become like a lion when I am a lion. Yeah. So let's just look at the sheep, see that we're not that. And then, the raw will be spontaneous. You'll be what you've been looking for. Yeah. And then you can put a lot of shit to rest. Yeah. And a lot of it's knowledge. You just put it to rest. You're dumb as a bunion, so to speak, but it's great because you're finished. The inquiring mind has found rest. Yes.
Yeah.
That's all. It doesn't care anymore, you know? And there's so much available when the camera isn't focused, you know? You get a real big panoramic view,
Yeah.
I feel. So, yeah, and so I can see it happening with you, Robert. I see it happening with everyone in the Zoom. Yeah, because I have an intimation of it happening to me. I started seeing blue as blue and red as red, and things became as clear as fucking day. And all the argument and the debating was put to an end. You know, they got wrapped in more mundane shit. You know, just talking about whatever. Yeah, and man, and if I close my eyes, you're there immediately. You never get chipped.
Mm.
You're always here. Always. What you are is always here. It's us that put a foot, a distance or a bit of time between it, but it doesn't. It's just here. And and it starts rubbing off, So yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Robert. And our friend Keith in Petaluma is up.
Hey, Paul.
Keith.
I'm out here in the dark. It's a beautiful night. What you just said was exactly what I, for the last minute, wanted to share. And I want to share this with everybody listening. And I hope it can be helpful. When I first started coming to this meeting, the message, a part of the message said,
sorry for this.
That there was a part of the message that really hit me was that the no,
can't hear him.
You can't hear?
I can hear Keith. I think it's just you, Paul. Keith, you can hear me, right?
I can hear Mike. Can you hear
Yeah.
me say I can hear you?
Yeah, I think it's just Paul. Paul, can you?
Well,
I think you were cutting.
then Mike and I can continue, and someone can tell Paul what we talked about later.
He can watch the recording.
I get this. Hey Keith, I get the sense clearly. Yeah, the words I can't hear, but
Okay. Well, the basic thing is the part about the message that hit home was that the knowing precedes the knower, and the seeing precedes the seer. Okay. I think the reason that's hard for so many of us is because we are convinced that could not be possible. How could seeing happen without a seer? Okay, well, it happens every moment of our lives if we're willing to do what you just said, Paul. I'm already here. And it didn't, so, when I first heard that the seeing precedes the seer, of course, what the mental process did for about 6 months worth of meetings was say, oh, okay, as the seer, I'm really going to practice getting good at seeing that seeing is here first. I'm going to practice that. And so there's just what you said, there's that one step that keeps getting added. So there was a moment of clarity that came of seeing what I'm not, and it took the form of something like, it was a version of, I'm always already here. But the way that expressed itself was, I take myself to bed every night. It doesn't require any effort. It doesn't require any doer. The going to bed at night gets done. It just happens, right? It's already here. And the idea that someone puts me to bed every night, called Keith, is an add-on. And that hit me. And there is a turnaround in this whole thing, guys. When the horse is indeed in front of the cart and you realize the horse is never not in front of the cart. It doesn't mean there's not slippage. And in some moments, I'm not irritated that life is not working out the way I want life to work out. And I'm separate again. But increasingly, there's the recognition that I'm here. I'm always already here. And the seeing is just, And by the way, test this as for seeing. How could seeing exist without a seer? Right now, every one of you, is there seeing happening? Is there hearing happening? Now, is there a hearer? Yes, a hearer. That just got added. It wasn't the thing that was there first. So anyway, this is my appreciation, Paul, for all the
Yes.
high balls that you've thrown that I could not catch and that have landed where they could only land. Much appreciation, brother. I've been listening to messages of this kind for decades, but no one ever taught me to pay attention to how the listening was happening. And now that that piece is installed, it was never not installed, but now that that's clear, as things are settled, things are
Yeah.
basically okay.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Yes.
brother.
And Keith, also, when the seer is presented in the interpretation, it doesn't mean you've lost or moved anywhere.
Oh no. It's a
Yeah.
When there's identification as the seer, there's less time, seemingly less time spent as the seer these days.
Yeah, it's sort of like if you saw something on your windshield moving, yeah, and
Or
you
when
took that as what was really happening, but you're just sitting there seeing this movement on the windshield. Yeah.
Yeah, or when someone starts a political conversation, and I could feel where this is supposed to trigger me, and I realize there's nobody there to really be triggered, and there could be that person. I could become that person, but I've actually had that experience in political conversations recently. I know the things I believe, and they're being contradicted by what someone has just said. And I realize, oh, this is where Keith usually kicks up and takes a stand and lets everybody know what Keith thinks about politics. And I'm seeing that part of Keith that could do that, and I still could do it. And that's the point. Sometimes I do it. I get triggered by politics.
Well,
There-
yeah,
there's a triggering, and it gets claimed, and I spend 3 hours afterwards thinking about how mad I blah 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 blah. But
yes.
that is happening less, and it can be seen. And as far as being who I am, there's no way I'm not ever who I am or what I am. There's that's increasingly, yeah.
Well, good. Yes. Yeah. And the point is, we were talking about it in another group, that in a way you're more of an individual when you see you're not an individual. So there's more of letting Keith get triggered because it's not you getting triggered.
Yeah, and
that's part of the comedy routines.
yeah, and that's true. And there's a wonderful thing about seeing what's not me. What's seen in that is that, yeah, that's not me. That's not the seeing. I'm not the seeing is not happening in this body. The
I
action.
think I lost him.
Oh, you lost me there.
No, you're good. You're so good, Keith.
I hear you. Yeah, I hear you. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, it's the recognition that when I recognize what's not me, that is also part of what I am. It's just not the source of things. It's not the seeing. The seeing isn't happening from the place I thought I was seeing from, but the recognition of that part. There's nothing that isn't me ultimately, and you've said that yourself.
Yeah.
That it's all us.
Yeah.
But we have to go first to not see what you're not, and in seeing what I'm not, then that what I'm not is also part of what I am. It's form, it's expression, it's part of my being. In other words, I don't end up negating it or rejecting that part of myself, in some dualistic.
Well, who could do that anyway?
Can't do it anyway. Yes.
Yeah. Right. Who could negate and reject?
Yeah, or to try to do it. So anyway, that's my share tonight.
Thank you, bro. I'm so happy that it landed where it already was. Yes.
It landed where it already was, and will always be. Will
Yeah.
always be right. And I'm going to put myself to bed tonight. It's like it every night, and it's not going to require any effort, any doer.
Just a couple of pills.
Just a couple of pills. a couple of vodka. Everything
Couple of
comes up.
shots.
Jose
I go right-
Cuervo. Jose
Yeah.
Cuervo will to bed.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, man. Thank you.
Mama's little helpers. Yes. All right, Keith.
See you
I didn't
soon.
see you.
Thanks, Keith.
Okay, see you soon.
Satish.
Hey, Joyce. Joyce, I see you have a chin diaper. There you go.
And Satish
All right.
is unmuted.
Who?
Yeah, hi,
Satish.
Paul.
Who's
Satish.
this? Oh,
Yeah.
Satish. How are you?
Oh, good. Thanks. So, like 101 simple questions. So when you say I'm looking for who I am I doing that by looking for happiness, peace, and happiness? Is that how I'm looking? Is that how I'm looking for who I am?
I'm talking more about the idea of finding out what you are. Yeah. Your inherent nature.
Oh, okay.
So So when I'm not talking about the action figure being happy or not.
Mhm.
I'm talking about that sense of trying to find the truth. Yes. With the truth. As the truth. Yeah. That.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The idea of happiness and stuff like that. No, when I'm usually talking about you're using what you are to try to find what you are, that's what I'm talking about. The interpretive story is claiming to be you, all the while being what you are and using what you are to look for what you are. Yeah.
Lost you there for a little bit.
What's looking, and then there's something that's using that to look for what's looking. You can see the failure of that kid.
Yeah. I didn't hear that because you're
A
freezing.
mic or not? Oh. Well, so Satish, can you hear me, Mike, now?
Yeah,
You're
I
coming
can
back.
hear you
You're
now.
in and out.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. So yeah, I'm sorry for the Zoom. I'll have to try to get a better connection. Not now, but yeah, when I'm saying looking for what I am, I'm pointing out that that search for a lot of people to really find out what they are. Yeah.
Mhm.
But there's an identification as what they're not.
Mhm.
So basically, you're using what's looking to look for what's looking. Do you see something off in that? That's the assumption. So the assumption of non-duality, in my sense, is you are what you're looking for. You are that. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're
so-
the seeker is the sought. You're the goal is already at hand, or you arrive at the other shore upon having never left. That idea is non-duality.
Yeah, I understand
so
that
then,
part. Mhm.
So from there, we're questioning what we're not. So we're basically saying there's an active identification going on that's seemingly masking what we are. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that this idea of what we're not is playing the role of what we are. And it's actually using what we are to look for what we are. Yeah.
So the
I
other
think this
follow-up
is a fundamental, I think this is a fundamental act here.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
mhm.
so without seeing that act, you'll be looking from it. Yeah. You'll be
Right.
doing exactly that which we just shared.
Yeah. Yeah.
You won't be, but there'll be a doing of just that which we just shared. Yeah.
So the follow-up question is like, aren't you localizing by saying who I really am, or is that just in a manner of speaking? Because what I
We're
am.
trying to, we're using localization to get a point across.
Yeah, okay. But
Yeah.
it's not personal. It's totally impersonal, right?
No,
Yeah.
we're using opposites to do something. Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. So, yeah. Instead of trying to go in the sense of being dualism, the act of duality that we are in this mental activity of subject objectness, yeah? So there's a two-ness that we think is one because we picture us as a body, yeah? So there's only seemingly one Satish, but the activity of Satish is really subject object all day, yeah? Satish is held as a body, yeah, and sometimes Satish is thought about, then sometimes Satish is the thinking, so it's the subject sometimes, it's the object at other times, yet when it looks at it, it thinks there's only one Satish. So basically, there's a masquerading of one that two is appearing as. So the two, yeah? So instead of thinking you as this are going to arrive at the oneness, yeah? The oneness of you is going to arrive at the oneness. We want to look at the two-ness of you, yeah? Recognizing you're not that, you are the oneness, if you want to use the 2 and 1, yeah? Yeah? So basically your journey and your path is based on an assumption that's false. You're trying to get to LA based on the premise you're in Omaha, but in fact you're in LA. Yeah, yeah.
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 If it ain't true for you, it ain't true for you. But that's the invitation, basically.
All right. Thank you.
Yes. John K. went to sleep. That's good. It's amazing what I see in these squares. Walter is, I don't know what's going on in Netherlands, Amsterdam. Walter's there. Johannes is there, always looking good. Susie just came up like, she just popped her head out above the prone level of the square. Nice to see you, Sue. We got Robert there. He's somewhat sitting up. Most people aren't. We got, who else? What else is going on here? Satish is getting over the question and the answer. Nice to see you, Satish. We got 19514. Either she's got a very rigid mustache or it's a pen. I think it's a pen under her nose. We got Karen. Karen looks like a lava blanket. Is slowly it's coming over us. It's up to her neck. At the beginning, it was only on her shoulder. Now it's up to her neck. There's Yariv. Yariv always looks like he's in a futuristic experimental lab. Yeah, I don't know. He's got the white t-shirt, white decor. Fritz has got these underneath the mountain of great rest. Vlad is frozen. I must be out. I can say anything I want now. George from the void. I see George. Barry, can they hear me, Mike?
I can hear you.
Oh, well then because
hear me?
everyone looks like they're frozen. There's my bodyguard, Richard. Richard, did you take care of that business I wanted you to take care of? Because I see there's 2 missing squares. Good. All right. We got Clifford from Chiang Mai. Nice to see you, Clifford. Tom Harmon's relaxing tonight. Source 1 in RCP marketing. We got Amelia. She's here. Drew Assini is here somewhere. We got Keith. I just saw Keith. And there's Julie. We got Stacy. Brahmi. Nice to see you, Brahmi. Yes. We just had Hari over here, a friend of yours. Oh, there's Josh. I see you guys better now. Any questions? Stacy, do you have a question? Stacy L? No?
No, just happy to be here. Thanks, Paul.
That's good. All right, Joyce, nice to see you. All right, any questions? Mike C. We got Jacob from Seattle.
Oh, Johannes has his hand up.
It's finally working. No one's asking questions.
Yeah,
Hallelujah.
no, it's not Paul. Paul, Johannes is going to go.
All
Paul.
right. Nice to see you, Johannes.
Hi, Paul. I have a question coming up. I listened to this message for so long time, and I did not understand why I didn't understand it. And what coming up is that the felt sense, the sensing, tell me all the time I'm be something. I am something, and all the time say, and I'm looking for this antidote to that because I listened to this message again and again. I said, okay, I am nothing. There's something happening, and there's no one
Mike, I'm
there.
losing him, Mike.
No, I can hear him. It's you, Paul.
I can't hear it. Yeah, I can't hear him. I know it's
Okay.
it's I want to hear what he says. Yeah.
Could you hear me now?
Yeah, it's going in and out. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. Could you hear me now?
No, he's,
Yeah, I can't hear him, Mike.
yeah, you're dropping out. Your video's even going off.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I
Oh,
don't
no
know
worries.
what to. I don't know what to do, Mike, with it. I can't get on the phone. What? How do I do the phone?
Why don't you come in and get to Heads? Because Heads is working for me.
All right. Hey, I'm gonna just move inside. Mike,
Okay.
Mike, I'm gonna move inside.
Okay.
Tell him I'm moving. Go. He can't hear me.
Oh, yeah. And then,
All
and
right.
also,
I'm gonna move inside the house.
Hey, Mike, did you hear him? He's moving inside the house.
yeah.
Yeah,
And if it
just
helps, somebody reminded us to turn off the video, and that can help.
Okay. I think inside it's better because it's connecting to the other Wi-Fi. Let's see how it goes.
I can't get to the phone like I used to be able to get.
All right, Mike, he's next to me. So he just turned off the iPad and he's putting it back on and connecting
Okay.
to the other Wi-Fi, okay?
Okay.
Hang tight, everybody.
You could probably just use yours too then, right? It just doesn't come
Yeah, I
back on.
guess so. Yeah, you can come in here. Sure.
I have it now. Don't worry. I'll be there in a minute. So incorrect says. No, this.
Yeah, share password here.
All right, it's on.
Okay.
You have to go to Zenbitsa. I want to hear what this guy says. So. Well, that didn't go well.
I can hear you. Is that
Yeah.
Amelia?
That's from me.
Yeah, coming on now. Wow, can't see anything here.
Well, I can hear you good. Why don't you just go ahead with that? Oh, okay. Well, here you are again.
Yeah, put Johannes on again.
Yeah, he's
I'm
done.
on.
He's still
All
on.
right,
Okay.
I
let
can
me-
hear you now. Thanks for.
Okay, now you
All
guys got to
right.
move apart though. You can't have both on.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you hear me now?
Yes.
Oh, great. So, yeah, what's coming up today was I hear this message for a time now and over years from different angles, and what comes up is that the felt sense, the senses tell me that I'm something, that there's a feeler there, there's um, um, an experiencer of senses, and that is wrong. And there's just experience happening, but there's no one there who experiences, and it's so difficult to get this gap in between, because mostly yeah, there must be someone experiencing it. I'm experiencing it, and that's a lie. So is there an antidote to that we did not fall in this trap, that we are something?
Yes. All right. So the thing is, this is mechanical.
Yeah,
Yeah. So don't wait for the day that the action figure thinks or gets that it's all there is experiencing. Yeah.
yeah,
You just see the action figure as not you. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
You have an interpretation. We have a stock interpretation of this place. Yeah.
yeah,
If there was there is no experience without it something to be experienced and an experiencer.
yeah,
Experience isn't the truth. Yeah.
yeah,
This is the
yeah,
dreaming. So the dreaming continues, and there's for an experience to be had, there has to be an experiencer. Now,
yeah,
that event of that interpretive event of experiencer experience is experiencing. It's all verbing, but there's
yeah,
an allusion to a noun. Yes,
yeah,
that's going to constantly kick in, but you're seeing it not from the noun. Yeah, you're not seeing the seer from the seer. You're seeing the seer from the seeing. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. And there's no seer of the seeing.
yeah,
Yeah. So what wants to be where the seeing is may be a sophisticated seer. That's not available to it. It's a
yeah,
story. It's a story. Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, we run around with the story for all our life, so it's really hard to get rid of it. It's so
Well, yeah, who
sticky.
wants to get rid of it? Usually the one who has the story.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Which is another story. Yeah. And the one is another story of the one who has the stories is a story, and on and on and on and on and on. So what always wants to get out is what thinks it's in. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah,
That's the whole
yeah,
movement of in and out. This desire. That which we're not desires to be something, and it desires to unbecome things it believes it is. It's just movement. It's movement begetting movement. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, it has this momentum, maybe 80 years, maybe 70, maybe 90, but it all dies. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. So, yeah, there's that's the thing that you give. That's where the loss of interest is most dominant, which is this incessant interest to be there to experience our own absence. That interest to be the first seer of the seeing. That interest, that thing, that's what gets lost. Yeah. And you realize that this action figure can only reach 11. Yeah.
Yeah.
Stop feeding it dreams it can reach 1,000 feet. All it does is irritate it more. Yeah, it has its limitations. It's completely on a need to know basis. Yeah, and it has the story, and the story's going to continue. Yeah, how we
Yeah.
travel later through the story is not being the character of the story, but seeing the character as part and parcel of the story. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
the story, is that there's a character. See, the character keeps separating itself by saying, I'm having all these stories, as if that idea of the character isn't a fucking story. Yeah?
Yeah.
So there's the claiming of a story by a story by a story by a story. It just goes on and on. And then, of course, it has its wishes every step of the way. I wish it would stabilize. I wish I could just see clearly all the time. I wish, I wish, I wish. You'll lose interest in that because you're not you. That's not you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I watched your face change. So, I mean, you were like deadly serious, and now things have chilled out a little. That's fucking great. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's nice.
I'm telling you, the way you travel lighter isn't like 50 years of drama. It's more like a comedy station. When the story becomes a comedy, it's fucking, it's much nicer. It's just traveling lighter. But then you go, who's traveling lighter? Who gives a shit? There's just traveling lighter. Yeah?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's nice.
So hopefully these meetings lend a little satirical relief to the ever relevant character of all the stories. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah. See, the program produces senses. Those senses aren't true.
Yeah, that's a big trick. That's a big illusion because all the
Well,
senses tell me, hey, there's something going on. There's nothing going on. There's
it's
nobody
dreaming.
there.
Yes, it's dreaming, like the Course in Miracles would say. It's dreaming. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so for me, my feeling is everything is happening, but nothing ever happened. But everything is happening. Yeah. Stories about things that had happened are happening, but nothing ever happened. It's just happening, happening, happening. Yeah.
Yeah.
It goes against the logic of the mental condition.
Yeah. It's completely illogical. Yeah.
Which is wonderful because that logic will kill you up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. It can't even recognize what actually works. It thinks it's paradoxical, but it's only when something is seen as when something that works is seen by a failed system. The failed system presents it as paradoxical. It's not. It's just another way of living, which is much clearer and cleaner. Yeah,
Yeah.
not a self-centered way, but a centered way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's nice. Oh, thank you, Paul. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. I mean, let's say you're the water of the river, yeah, and you're just following a tiny little strand of interpretation, and that strand is given the meaning of being the whole river, and the attention and interest just is constantly on that strand of the water. And then what happens when you hear a message such as this? You lose interest in that little strand and you get a sense of being the big river. Yeah.
Yeah.
That little part's the big river, but it's not having that sense because the attention and interest is being used to obsess over this one little strand of story called Paul, yeah, at the expense of the whole rivering, so to speak. So we lose interest in that little tributary called Paul, and we gain interest in the rivering, yeah, which is much more rewarding and fucking just a lot. It's just alive. That's all. It's alive. You feel something. Yeah. So, all right, bro. It's nice to see you.
Yeah,
I'm
thank you. Thank
on
you.
a Zoom now. I heard everything you said.
Yeah, that's nice.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Johannes. Julie,
Thank you.
You woken up.
Paul, that statement you made about movement, that helped me. So thank you. This week I sort of had an anchor, which was I suddenly had this sense of what is, right? And it sort of settled. And then I've had a sort of a relief from it because once I accepted what is, the default was just to be, right? So having said that, the harder part was sometimes for me, emotions are very difficult to see them through, to see them as unreality or that I'm the seer of them or just to let them go by. So ultimately I get caught up in the stories again and I have to pull back from.
In here, don't maybe take the attention off the emotion and put the attention on who is it that believes it's having the emotion.
With fear, which has been predominantly a big fat problem, so I go into protection mode. So when I feel emotions, it's a stuffed down thing. So it's been going on for a while. So to allow these emotions up, I know that's what I'm supposed to do, right?
No, it's not what you're supposed to do.
Oh,
It can happen, but who says you're supposed to do that?
it was another teacher, Lester Levinson, that was
Don't
saying
give me
if
names.
emotion.
Don't give me names because it's out of context. So yeah,
Okay,
you don't
so
have to.
I'm just telling you what I know, which is if the emotions are there, you can allow them to stay or go. Okay, he uses the I. All right.
No,
So
I'm not talking about, I don't care about the. I'm just see. All right, so there's a way of, all right, let's train our eye on the balls of emotion, or let's look at the field around it. Yeah, that's all.
okay,
This is a different, whatever. Yeah.
so when I look at something, I get triggered, and then I'm like battling.
But see, you don't get triggered. Your mental state gets triggered. You keep, but
Okay.
the
Oh, I
language
see.
keeps applying it's
Okay.
you. And then you
Okay.
get stuck owning what you got triggered with. Yeah.
Okay. This is my hazy area. So thank
So
you.
we just
That's what
built
I'm trying to do.
happens. So here, there's a claiming of the triggering
Yeah.
to imply it's you that got triggered. Now
Right.
that recognition, quite faulty but assumed, lands on a whole pile of a lot of shit that you've got triggered by.
Yeah.
So yes, so there's a historical you that's been triggered. You are now that historical you getting triggered again. And
All right.
this is how the language and the claiming is not being noticed. We give you
Right.
a simple anatomy class. The mental state, not you, the mental state arises and claims whatever you and I bring it into contact with. Yes? So
Right.
let's say that a feeling of unease called triggered. Okay? So the mental
Right.
state claims that feeling and implies that it's you that either did the triggering or has been triggered. Yeah?
Right. Right.
Then
Right.
somebody calls up, gets on a Zoom, and starts from there. So they're
Right.
speaking from the robbery, yeah,
Yep.
in front of a court that's questioning the thief and the robber. So I'm going to
Right.
have to question because you're presenting a case, but I see a different case there. I
Right.
see the robbery of police and policeman and thief.
Right.
Yeah? Yes.
Yep.
So
Thank you.
you came to this courtroom, and so that's the verdict I'm going to keep applying. Because
Yeah.
if I don't, the horses get out of the barn, and then the
Yeah.
fucking talk turns into emotions or triggers and shit like that, which are fine and in certain cases need to be addressed and dealt with. But this is a platform we're attempting to talk to to have some, let's say, anatomical pictures on the wall, which says all there is verbing. There's the claiming of the verbing to imply a noun, and then the noun is presupposed to be before the verbing. Yeah?
Right.
Which your statement just illustrated perfectly. Yeah? So we want
Yeah.
to point that out so that it's not the personalness. There's many arenas to take care of that, but to see the mechanicalness that triggers so much personalness. Yeah?
Right. Yeah.
See, how does it do that? It claims something that's happening to imply it's happened to you tons of times and it's going to happen to you more. And now you live as the accumulation of fear about being triggered. You see it?
Yeah.
That's the diagram. Now,
Right.
we add the story to it, but I want to stay on the anatomical fucking illustrations. Yeah?
Right.
Because
Well,
I want to go the other way. I don't
I
want to go, what do I do after I've been triggered? I want to see there's no one that got triggered. There was a
right.
claiming of the triggering to imply a someone. That's what I want to do. Yeah?
Yeah.
I find that to be much more valuable than the other direction. I do.
Right. What I was saying was I can understand the concept of what you're saying, but often when I speak, I don't see it for myself. That's so when I ask you the question, it's just a clarification of that so I can see it better.
Well, I hope I feel that was, I can't, we already drew up the anatomical illustrations. They're there. If you go to
Yeah, I
any
know.
of the talks, we're going to probably present them. The first movement, the presentation is life is happening. It's verbing,
Right.
verbing,
Right.
verbing, verbing. There's a claiming of that verbing, and then there's a noun that gets inferred and implied. And then the
Right.
whole language of that we're using and all the ways we communicate to people, we communicate from the noun before the verb.
Right.
And look at where it gets us. It gets us more entangled with verbs and a bigger noun. Yeah?
Right. Thank you.
Yeah. See, you wanna make the seat that the assumption is used to and familiar with uncomfortable for it. Yeah, you want to,
Yeah.
when the mental state just wants to sit down into the narrative, you want to get it up. You want to get it uncomfortable so that there's something that's recognized. Yeah, so it
Right.
doesn't go off on its fucking spiel and shit like that. That you catch it and you see the conception of what you're not. You see it from what you are. That's not named. That's not a figure. That's not a historical noun, but the seeing of it. We are the seeing of that activity. Yeah.
Right.
And
Thank
if you
you.
don't see the activity that makes you up, you're going to live from that which is being made up. You are. And I don't think
No.
it's going to go well.
Right. I know. I know. Well, that's what I've been doing. That's why it's just sort of like doing it the other way. So it's just, yeah.
Just stay with us, honey, and or don't stay with us. But if you want a reminder, just go to some old talks. There should be the anatomical illustrations there. Yeah.
No, I know what they are. I know what they
Yeah.
are.
And
Okay.
yeah, yeah,
Thank you.
yes. It's sort of like we have a shoe store and we only have one model for both male and female. Yeah.
Right.
It's only one shoe. That's what we're putting. Yeah, you can make it anything you want, but it's basically one shoe. That's what
Right.
we're offering. Or like I'm a
Right.
cod salesman. I may like mackerel, I may not, but I not. That's not my topic. I'm cod, COD.
Yeah, well,
You can
that's what I
saute it,
got.
you can grill it, but it's going to be the same fish every time.
Well, that's what I got when you said the movement. So that was quite clear today. So thank you. There's only one movement.
Yeah, yeah, yes. All
Okay,
right, Tony,
thank
great.
you.
Great to see you.
Me too.
Thanks, Julie.
I feel invigorated with a better Zoom connection.
Much better.
The slaps are going to be firing off like that.
I don't know if you want to make time for it, but somebody did ask. I'm curious about Paul's thoughts on collective awareness. Is collective awareness a story? Most likely.
Collective means many separate others are having it.
Rabbit hole oneness.
I don't see it that way, no. It sort of like goes against the the whole premise of non-duality in a sense, but yeah. Anyone else? That's it.
No hands.
I'm on fire now. I'm ready to rumble. Let's go.
Anybody want to warm themselves on his fire?
It won't be warm.
It won't be warm.
No, no, no.
I'll
No.
just add a comment about how funny it is that the focus on something changing, as opposed to there, even within the dreaming, there's us as source that obviously isn't change in order to be noticing changing, and then the background has to be not changing. Space, sky.
Yes.
There's in a movie house, you've got the light that doesn't move, and you got the screen that doesn't move, and then there's an imagination of something moving in between them.
Well, that's the programming, bro. It's not like this is a very skewed dreaming. It's not, it has biases galore. So much shit goes unnoticed, and a lot of shit goes completely unnoticed. Yeah? You don't see what never comes and goes, obviously. Yeah?
Even though that's even 2/3 of it in the dreaming.
But so the whole point is, I found, whatever. This expression and observation point is whatever it is, but it has limits, yes? Has its limitations. And there's certain programmings that if you go in it as the programming, you're not going to change the programming. Yeah? So you might as well just move on and get to the level of what's needed to be convinced about and just move on. Yeah? And recognize the futility of using what you are to look for itself. It's just crazy. Yeah? I mean, I'm sure we've had enough. Most people here have run into the futility so much. Tonight could be the end. Just. See, because we are already that, we're missing it because there's that urge or desire to arrive there that's stronger than the recognition that it's always here. Yeah? You see? So that which is always here isn't seen as that. It's seen as a place to arrive at. Yes? That's like the old story about going to the other shore. The other shore is like let's say the pure awareness, whatever. And so you arrive at the other shore, and upon arriving, on having never left. This is the thing. Yeah? Yeah? Yet what can happen is you can feel like you've went back to the other shore, you can reserve another boat, to go back to the other shore, arrive there, have the same hit that you had never left, and do the same thing fucking again. On and on and on. Yeah? The point is you may not change the conditioning of the action figure, but you can see it as not you. That's the beauty of it. Yeah? So when it keeps trying to buy, reserve boats to get to the other shore, which it has arrived on having never left before, you know what I mean? There's comedy in that. I find it's incredible. There's a lot of comedy in that. Yeah. So I find that people, the stubbornness of the identification is you keep trying to convince that which can't be convinced. Yeah. To stop trying to get out of self as a self. Yeah. You just keep, and it's not going to hear it because its programming is it can get out of self as Paul and as Rob and as John and as Richard. Yeah. And even though there's been thousands of Richards that have failed, that Richard thinks it's a special Richard. And that Paul thinks it's a special Paul. And I'm going to be exempt from all the laws and the principles I've noticed because I'm different and I'm going to fucking get there. I'm going to escape from self. Yeah, well, it's a very stubborn, deluding quality in the programming. Yeah. And we're hoping to sort of it's never going to get done. It may at some time, but you can be done with it before it's done. You can just see through it, I hope. Yeah. Mike, you there?
I'm here.
Oh, good. I don't know. The silence, I can't tell. It's not like at a live meeting. With the Zoom, I think I've been muted. At the live meetings, it's gorgeous. Here, what? No one's hearing me.
I love it when I think nobody is listening to me, and then I notice that I'm muted.
You wish you had that excuse in life. No one's listening to you, and they're hearing you loud and clear. All right, well.
Well, and Drew Assini says hand up. Does that mean you want to speak, Drew?
Yeah, yes, sir.
All right.
Yeah, thanks for everything shared here, everybody. And so like the thing that's being seen in the moment is this, like the movie can just keep playing on the movie screen. It's just, I'm no longer like starring in it. I'm just hanging out.
Yeah.
Or that I isn't,
That's
like
been
caught
the
up
thing
in.
the whole time. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I definitely can relate to like getting pulled back into trying to like deprogram the action figure to be more available for awakening or awareness or whatever.
Yeah.
And then I wanted to say that I was really disappointed at how like little there is to actually do and how hard I've tried to do something. But then I saw that as like just another layer of like shenanigans going on.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just, I feel like, and I don't know who this is or what, the input is super welcome. Like, it feels like it's hard to accept how easy it is.
Well, yeah.
Like, I don't know what to do if I'm not struggling or something.
That which is easy, but from the other point of view. It's always the snake and the skin thing going on, right? Yeah. So the head, we have that little story about the skin and then of the snake, and the snake molts the skin every year. It doesn't do it volitionally. Yeah. Its skin falls off. And that event can be seen from 2 points of view. One's from the skin's point of view,
Right.
and the skin's whole point of view is it's the snake. See,
Right.
its whole narration, is that it's actually the snake. So if something bad would happen to the skin, it would be very bad for the snake. Yeah.
Right.
So now the skin molting for the snake, from the snake's point of view, is hallelujah. It's gonna be more attractive to female snakes. It'll travel lighter over things. Yeah. So it's like a big win. But the skin has a megaphone, and the skin's been fucking acting like it's been the snake for seemingly a long time, and it keeps talking to the snake about it being the snake. Yeah.
Right.
So it's going to give its opinion, which is, this is fucking terrible. Don't, buy a lot of moisturizer. Don't go out in the noonday sun. Shit like that. It's going to have you trying to defend the skin, while it would be the greatest thing for the snake. So you just see this. It's funny, I feel.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that which is, it's just like somebody I spoke in Dublin once, and a person came and says, "Oh, when I listen to you, it sounds so easy, like you're not a body. But, to me, it's super impossible." Yeah, because you're speaking from the body. From the body's point of view, it's impossible not to be a body. But if you just switch to another pointless point, which is you're not the body, is cool. Yeah. So yeah, from that to that which is not a body, it's easy not to be a body, because it is not a body. Yes. So the body programming, it's almost impossible to see life without being a body. Yes.
Right.
Because the system is preserving the system. Yeah, always.
Right. And so the body is just another part of the ride.
Yeah, the body is the ride. That's the funny thing. We as a body want to get off a lot of rides, but we're the biggest ride of all. It's the body. You're assuming I want to get off this roller coaster, but the body ride is a roller coaster, yeah? We never see that we can get off that ride. Yeah. Yeah, it's the ride. It's not, it's saying the story that it's on all these rides. It's actually the ride. Yeah. It's like the hamster wheel. Is there a wheel without the hamster? It's just metal, not moving. You put the hamster in it, and then it's the hamster wheel. Yeah. You take the hamster out, it ain't a wheel. Now the hamster will be going, I can't wait to get off of this hamster wheel. But it's the hamster.
And I'm frequently identified as the whole thing, which is a hamster in a wheel with the wheel moving, trying to make sense of life like that, when I'm actually just the hamster itself.
Well, you're not the hamster, but that's the action figure, is the hamster.
Oh, okay. All right.
But you're not the hamster. See, that's what allows you to travel lighter through the life of a hamster wheel. Yeah, because the hamster wheel won't be able to get the momentum and the revolution per minute going without the seriousness of you taking yourself to be the hamster.
Right. If I'm not invested in the dramas, they don't get as much juice.
You'll see a lot more comedy in it.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's sort of funny, isn't it? See, we used to have a statement of the hallway of shitting fans, yeah? So you went to this hallway, and then as soon as you enter, the fan goes on and the shit starts going, yeah? And you try to, find skillful means. How can I get through the hallway of shitting fans without getting hit with so much shit? And you get all these things and shit. But you have to realize the hallway of shitting fans only happens when you're in it. You're the generator of the hallway and shitting fans. You can't use a skillful means on you. You think you have tons of skillful means, yeah, but what's
Yeah.
really needed is the skillful means concerning you.
Right. This is so
And you know
disappointing.
what? There's no skillful means concerning you. That's the ultimate skillful means. None. Zero.
That's-
Zip. You're not that. Yeah? As soon as it's lent a little relevance, then you need skillful means. But the true skillful means is no means at all. Is a recognition you're not that. Yeah?
Don't touch it, don't engage it, don't pick it up.
Well, no,
Nothing.
there's going to be tons of touching it and engaging it, but it's not you touching it and engaging it. Yes, it's the thief and the policeman. They're fucking making up a porno movie. Yeah, they're doing,
Right.
you know, just this touching and doing tons of shit. But you're not. You're neither of them. You don't
I
have
guess
to.
I guess I'm saying don't touch it as in like not. It feels like there's an eye that has a little bit of an option to go
No,
with
no.
the character
It's
in the
like
story or not.
The screen has no option to appear in the movie.
Say again, I missed it.
Screen in a movie theater has no option to appear in the movie.
Right. Yeah, the movie's just projected on it.
Yes. Yeah. See, you give it an inch, it will take 10,000 miles, like they
Right.
say.
Yeah,
in
that's.
Zen.
I guess that's the thought of like touching it. Like even the vaguest idea that like the screen can have any. Well, because I'm not acting as a screen. I think I'm something else, so then that's why I get caught up.
Exactly. You're thinking you're in a special movie that's part of the bigger movie, but really not part of the bigger movie, but it's completely part of the bigger movie. We're all in our private Idahos all the time. It's just Idaho. Wherever you are, there's Idaho. That's,
All right. Yeah, this is disappointing that there's not like a special personal answer for me to get so that I can like win. But
I know. Isn't it wonderful? It's like, remember that old TV show, the thrill of something and the agony of defeat? Well, the agony of defeat is a great success. Drew will be so much happier when the ultimate Drew is forgotten. Yeah, like when all the searches for the real Drew are called off. Drew will travel later. Yeah, yeah, yes. So it's just a weird thing. The less is interest in Drew, the more interesting Drew will be. It's true. The less interest in Drew, the more interesting Drew will be.
like the experience of Drew or being Drew or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. Dig it.
You'll be like an infinite well of comedic material. You'll be the butt of many jokes, but it's fine.
Well, my last name is Ass Eni, so that would fit.
You Assini. Well, we got to end on that one. That's a good one.
Thank you, man.
Drew Assini. I didn't see that. You must have had a hard time in school, Drew.
A little bit, sometimes.
If you went to my school with the name Drew Assini, wow. I have a lot more respect for you now. Oh, yeah.
It was
All
hard
right,
enough
my
with that
friend.
name.
I think we should call it a night. That was great. Yeah.
I wanted to thank Drew for carrying his disappointment so gracefully.
Oh, yeah. He's wearing it very well, as we all are. It is terribly disappointing. What is it? It's like the old Buddhist book, The Wisdom of No Escape. Yeah. There's a lot of hope in the hope of escape, and there's a great wisdom in no escape. Yeah. You can't escape from an imaginary fucking place. You can escape in an imaginary place, but you can't escape from an imaginary place. There's a lot of escaping in the imaginary place, but you can't escape from the imaginary place. Yeah? That's the wisdom. All right, well, let me say hello to everyone. We got Fritz. Nice to see you, Fritz. Vlad. Always good to see you, Vlad. My Siberian friend. Yes. We got 19514, I think. I hope I got that right. Nice to see you. Oh, nice cat. We got Karen. Karen getting it's like a wave of blanket, Karen. Just surrender, Karen. Surrender to it. We got Tom. Nice to see you, Tom. Jacob again from Seattle. Good to see you, Jacob. Richard, my main man. Good to see you, Rich. We got Clifford from Chiang Mai. You're still in Chiang Mai, Clifford? Yes. We got Doreen and Dyer. Nice to see you, folks. Yes. Where are you?
We're in Tacoma. It's Doreen and Sean. Hi, Paul. We're in Tacoma,
Where are
Washington.
you though? Where?
Tacoma, Washington.
Oh, Tacoma. Nice to see you.
Yeah, you too.
All right, let me go on here. We got Source One in RCP marketing. We got Brahmi. Brahmi. Sometimes you're gonna have to see yourself from where I'm sitting. Unbelievable, really. It's incredible color. Drew Assini. Drew, I'm gonna have a lot of fun with you, Drew. You got to keep coming back. We got John. Nice to see you, John. Dennis, L.A., Mike C., Julie, Keith. Thanks so much, Keith, for that share. Wonderful. I'm happy. I'm happy to see what's always happening. We got Art. We got Jacob again. Nancy. We got Karen's up now. Jesus. I disturbed her. Susan, Sue, nice to see you. We got Sanda, fantastic Sanda. You always get my engine going. It's good. Mary Graydon, fantastic. Johannes, thank you for sharing tonight, Johannes. Yeah. Walter, nice to see you, Walter. Thanks for coming. Yeah. We'll probably meet one day, hopefully.
I hope so.
I hope so too.
Yeah.
What? Yeah, we
Come to
will.
us.
Once it clears up, we have to go to Italy, so we'll be over in Europe hopefully. You know,
Yeah, I recognize something.
Yeah. All right, Robert. Nice to see you. John K. As always. Mike is the main man here. I'm sorry about the Zoom. I'm gonna have to do it from the bedroom. And yeah, and that's it. And then some people, Nancy and Jacob. No, we got everyone. Hey, thank you so much for brought me a lot of laughs tonight. It was good. All right, I'll see you guys later. We'll be there tomorrow for the the recovery thing. I think it's tomorrow, and then Saturday. And yeah, keep coming back. I'll see you later. And I think Mike keeps the place open, so I'll see you guys.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you, Paul.
Thanks, Paul.
Thanks, Paul.
Thanks, Paul.